I'm here today to tell you about my personal nonprofit burnout story. So if you're ready to hear about working 80 hours a week, crying in the office on a Sunday, and being forced to go on vacation, stay tuned. Now, I know burnout might not be the most fun thing to talk about, but I think it's important, and that is why I have dedicated my life to helping nonprofit executives create an organization and life of intention, ease, and impact. Hi, I'm Kelly, the nonprofit nerd, and before we get started with me sharing my burnout story, make sure you subscribe below where I give you weekly tips every Thursday about how you can do nonprofit leadership and life a little bit better and with a little bit more ease. So my nonprofit career started pretty early. I volunteered a lot when I was in my teens. I worked as the marketing associate for Performing Arts Center all through college. I volunteered quite a bit. I moved to Japan where I worked with a lot of different nonprofit organizations and serving as a community liaison. So I worked, performed, I've actually written and directed two full-length bilingual musicals. I know I'm kind of wonky. But I've done a lot in the nonprofit space in a lot of different arenas. And then I came back from living my dream life in my early 20s and doing all the adventurous things and decided to buckle down and be a real adult. And I was fortunate enough, I got a part-time job at a community college in adult education. I got 4 promotions in 3.5 years. A couple required master's degrees. And, I was good at my job and very dedicated. I had 7 different sites and anywhere between like 10 and almost 30 part-time staff during different times. And I was fully committed. I'd taken over the worst performing program of a performance-funded organization, the worst performing program in the state of Illinois. Just going to be honest, it's public information. Don't worry, I'm not outing. I took over the worst program. And then over like less than 1 fiscal year, I made all the moves and read all the best practices and looked at evidence-based instruction and what that looks like and got trained in evidence-based reading and instruction and consumed all the information about how to operate this organization based on best practices and research-driven results on what should our program look like, threw everything out, retrained staff, restructured the program, restructured contracts, restructured data processes, did everything in less than a fiscal year. And yes, I made significant impact. We were able to get more students getting GEDs in a year than it probably happened in the last 10 years. And for a performance-funded institution, having good performance does mean changing lives. So we were able to make a lot of impact. And for the worst, 97 out of 97 to one of the top 20 programs in the States in less than a fiscal year. I was able to achieve those things. You know what else I was able to achieve? Right after we met that, I left. I'd reached the job I wanted. I'd gotten the job I wanted. My bosses were wonderful. And me personally, and the pressure I was putting on myself to do all of the things right now without any self-care, I lost any sense of identity or self-care or prioritization of me, and really probably, honestly, sucked at time management. I used to brag. This is so sad to me. I used to brag that I left, and it was less than 4 years. I left and had 3.5 months of vacation payout. I had worked somewhere for almost 4 years and had 3.5 months of vacation payout. I never took vacation. And I know for a lot of you are like, oh wow, that's impressive. She was so dedicated. But I left. And this is what I really think nonprofit leaders need to be focused on, and why I'm telling my burnout story, and why I'm totally dedicated, 100% dedicated to helping nonprofit leaders design a life where they have ease and intention and impact and self-care and still have a life. This is my goal in life. I hope to help you. I hope you learn from my failing forward in my late 20s, so you don't become another nonprofit victim of burnout where you quit your job, sacrifice your passion because you feel like you can't survive otherwise. And that's what happened to me. A little bit about my burnout story. I said I'd tell more, but I was making a lot of needle moving moves for my organization. But you know what else I was doing? And I have a video coming out next week that's how to create 10 more hours in your work week. I was doing all the crap that I would never, ever, ever recommend. Like, everyone would probably say I was a supportive boss. I was always available. I remember going in to write grants at 4 a.m. with my lights off so that I could be ready for when the office opened. And as soon as staff started coming in, I would turn on my office light, open my door. Whatever their priorities were became my priorities because I want to be a supportive leader. And I did all of my work, that needle moving, boss moving, get funding, all of that stuff that really is the importance of a executive role for a nonprofit. I did all of it outside of structured work hours so that I could be supportive of staff, supportive of students, and I wanted to show that I wasn't as invested as everyone else. So I would be there, boots on the ground all the time. But then I would do my entire real job outside of work hours. And I know this sounds crazy, but my guess is some of you people watching this nonprofit burnout story have done this yourself. And I will tell you that if you really want to be the best leader, leadership and leadership traits are important. And again, make sure you subscribe below so you can see the video next week on how you can gain back 10 hours a week to your work week by just prioritizing that needle moving stuff instead of spending all of your time on those lower level tasks. And I'm not saying staff support isn't important, but I know for me, I could go back. I was working 80 to 90 hours a week. I'd work 21 days straight with not a single day off, including weekends. And I'd burn out. And it was grant writing season, and I needed to do all the things by yesterday, and I felt like such a failure. And even though I was changing an organization and a work culture and getting students that were coming out of prison to get GEDs and transition to welding programs and running family literacy programs that were finally having outcomes, I was doing all of these things. All I could see was all the stuff I wasn't doing and didn't have time to do and I was never going to have time to do. And I didn't really care how much money they paid me. I just knew I was going to not be able to do all of the things and still be a human being. If I went back to that job now, I really think, and I don't know, but I really think if I followed my own advice that I'm giving you now, by subscribing to this channel, if I was following my own advice, I could do that same job with the same outcomes in half the time and have joy and intention and peace and ease while doing it. And that's the small of my nonprofit burnout story. Again, I hope, I'm Kelly the Nonprofit Nerd. I hope you subscribe below because I am here to help you create an organization and life of intention and ease and incredible impact. And I'd love to join you on this journey. So I hope you subscribe below so you can join me.